Hello everyone, this is Favorite Books Review number 22. My last book review was a 24-year-old. Yep, tomorrow I hit the quarter-century mark. Let's move on. Nightlife by Peter David. First thing you want to know about Nightlife is that, as you might have been able to tell from the cover picture, it is Arthurian legend, but it is not for Arthurian legend purists. Peter David, the author, looked at several Arthurian legend books, including La Morte d'Arthur by Sir Thomas Malory, The Once and Future King and the Book of Merlin by T.H. White, The Last Enchantment and Other Assorted Titles by Mary Stuart, and he says in the foreword, all of the above have been carefully read or purchased or checked out from the local library and never returned by the author of this work. In the preparation of this manuscript, the author has at the very least skimmed the flap copy, cell copy, and table of contents of all of the above, plus many other titles too numerous or obscure to mention. So, while there are a lot of things that ring true with Arthurian legend, there are also a lot of inaccuracies. But the point of this novel is not to be accurate to the nth degree with the Arthurian legend. The point of this novel is to make you laugh. So if you're an Arthurian legend purist, I would either recommend that you not read this book, or that you do read this book and chill a little bit. Thanks. So this book basically asked the question, what if King Arthur were to return from Avalon, or his healing place, today, and therefore would be subject to the modern political system? That is essentially what happens in this book. Arthur returns and is found wandering around 20th century New York City wearing a suit of armor. And Arthur soon realizes that this new society and this new political system is not merely going to accept him as king just because he says he is. And so he begins his rise back to power by running for mayor of New York City. So already it's hilarious. King Arthur is running for mayor of New York City. Yeah. Now he's not alone in his endeavor to run for mayor of New York City. His campaign manager is, of course, good old Merlin. Unfortunately, at the moment, Merlin is in the guise of an 8-year-old boy because in order to stay immortal, Merlin has made it so that he actually ages backwards. Arthur also has his personal assistant, Gwen, who looks alarmingly like somebody he used to know. And of course, Percival, the immortal Grail Knight. But it's not just the good guys that have come back. Morgan Le Fay is still around and causing mischief, along with Arthur's bastard son, Mordred, who is actually the campaign manager for the other guy. So the book watches Arthur as he struggles to understand this new society and this new political system, and most especially these people. The people of the 20th century are so vastly different from the people of Arthur's time, largely because of their just general apathy. And Arthur is appalled by this apathy in the people who are voting for their leaders, and so he tries to instill some passion and some caring in them. See, basically Arthur is that candidate, that crazy independent candidate who runs for office, not with any expectation of winning, but just to get his views out there and to hold the other candidates accountable. The only difference is that Arthur has every intention of winning, and in fact has a pretty decent chance of doing so. His views are extremely antiquated, and yet they resonate with an alarming number of people, and a lot of people flock over to his side, and soon he is a major contender for the mayor of New York City. So much so that, of course, Morgan Le Fay and Mordred have to put a stop to it. Obviously this book is a comedy, and it makes fun of a lot of different things, including New Yorkers, the media, New Yorkers, the American political system, New Yorkers, politicians. Did I mention New Yorkers? And of course we see Arthur being incredibly naive about this new world that he finds himself in. But through all the comedy, there's also a lot of good messages in this book. In fact, a lot of the messages are the same messages as the Arthurian legend. One of the things that I like about the character of Arthur is that I don't always agree with him. But the point that Arthur makes is that it is not his purpose to make people agree with him, it's to make people think. It's to get people out of that apathetic state that they found themselves in and make them think about the issues and about why they elect the people that they elect. He recognizes that the power of leadership does not really lie with the leaders, but the people that support those leaders. One of the fun things about this book is that every so often in between chapters you'll have ye olde soundbite, which is essentially something from the television or radio, a news report or a commercial or something along those lines, which both makes fun of the media and also just shows how much of an influence the media really has. Peter David, incidentally, is much kinder to the media than, say, Dan Brown is. So I enjoyed this book every bit as much on the reread as I did the first time that I read it. There is a sequel, which is about the search for the Holy Grail, but I haven't actually read that one yet. I'm hoping to actually read it now. But Nightlife by Peter David is still a favorite, and I would highly recommend to each of you that you read it, especially if you're a fan of the Arthurian legend. And the next book in the favorite series is going to be Paper Towns by John Green, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit before you see it. I'm taking a brief, and by brief I mean like 2 weeks, a brief hiatus from this project, largely because by my own rules of the project, I can't reread a book until it's been at least a year since I last read it. And so I'm going to be waiting until about October 18th before I start reading Paper Towns. And I probably could fit in another couple of books in between there, but I've decided to do a little catching up on my regular reading, which has kind of fallen by the wayside. And so, that's that, and the next time you see me, I will be 25 years old, oh my god. Till then, see you next time.